It's better to be early rather than late, and after 3 consecutive big outings from Nick Chubb, as much as you do not want to hear this, it may be time to move him in your Dynasty leagues. What's up, everybody? Nate Liss of DynastyRankings.com back with you, and right now I'm going to give you the brutal truth about one of the NFL's best running backs, Nick Chubb. Entering his 5th season at 26 and a half years old can only mean one thing. The age apex is just around the corner. Now, I know the eternal optimist in all of us wants to believe that Chubb could be the next Adrian Peterson or Frank Gore and play efficiently into his early 30s, but the reality of the situation is Father Time remains undefeated. I mean, look at this age apex data provided by Apex Fantasy Football. With a threshold of 230 season-long fantasy points, which is the equivalent of roughly 14.5 fantasy points per game, the cliff after age 27 and 28 is very, very real. In fact, based on their research, 84.9% of these peak performances came between the age of 22 and 28. So let me say this for the group all the way in the back of the room. Nick Chubb will be 27 years old in week 16 of the NFL season, and your league mates know this. Because there's this weird thing that happens in Dynasty with running backs. Just the calendar rolling forward on that player's age from age 26 to age 27 is an instant red flag amongst most owners because they know the end is just around the corner. Ask Melvin Gordon. Now, if you like back-end running back 2 seasons, then by all means, hold on to Nick Chubb. But if you are looking to cash out at his peak and your roster isn't built to compete today, it's probably a must-move decision. And for those of you that don't believe me, let's go check in on our friends over at Keep Trade Cut and see if we can get another answer. As you can see by the graph listed below, just 2 weeks ago, Nick Chubb was being viewed as the RB15 in Dynasty. Now suddenly, despite just a 56% snap share, he's being hailed as the RB8 overall. You heard me right. He's now valued roughly neck and neck with players like Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, and Christian McCaffery. And he probably shouldn't be. Because over Chubb's last 2 seasons in Cleveland, he's managed no better than the RB54 in total targets, which comes at a rate of 1.8 targets per game. In fact, Breece Hall's 11 targets in just the 2 games this season are already 44% of the way to the total targets Nick Chubb saw last year. And Hall is 5 full years younger. So to see Nick Chubb approaching RB8 overall value or higher while entering his age 27 season while boasting the league's 22nd highest running back snap share is an absolute mindfuck. And if you thought Kareem Hunt was going anywhere at all, oops. Because after 3 games, Hunt is already seeing a top 17 target share of 11.4%, which is nearly 2 times the 5.7% Nick Chubb is seeing. And since we know that a target is already worth 2.74 times more than a carry, but there are 2 schools of thought here. Number 1, always compete. Do whatever it takes to position yourself to win a fantasy league. And of course, there's the polar opposite of that. Recognize that there is a team in your league or multiple teams that are already way better than you, and short of an injury or finding a magic lamp, there is no shot that you are winning this season. Trust me, I love the idea of fighting until the end.
This is Sparta!
But what good is a roster full of expiring assets after you've now secured the 9th overall pick in next year's rookie draft? Well, I can tell you, it's not good. So while Chubb is an amazing NFL running back, he's not a game-changing talent in fantasy football when it comes to PPR leagues. And who in the world is not playing in PPR leagues? Ugh. Yet over the past 2 seasons, while linked to Kareem Hunt, we've seen Chubb rank no higher than 6.3% target share, which should still only be good for about the RB40 overall. And while I would pick up arms and defend Chubb to the death, he's still only had 1 season where he averaged more than 16 fantasy points per game. Meanwhile, players like Christian McCaffery, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, and Austin Ekeler have already done this at least 3 times over that same span. So without the pass catching upside, and with the consistent snap share concerns that we see from Nick Chubb, such as the fact that the previous 2 years he hadn't had a snap share over 51.7%, all it takes now is the slightest decrease in his efficiency, and all of a sudden his value will tumble all the way back down 6 or 8 spots in the Dynasty rankings. And even despite the middle-of-the-road strength of schedule that Chubb is set to face, that throttled opportunity has to be the biggest talking point for Dynasty gamers. And I get it. While only being 0-2 today might not feel like the right time to start considering moving Nick Chubb, by the time that you are 4-13 and he's 27 plus years old, you might regret it. Thank you for checking out the video. If you enjoyed the content, hit the like button below. And of course, comment below as well. If you plan to ride Nick Chubb into the sunset, if you believe he is the next Adrian Peterson, tell me in the comments below. Conversely, if you are somebody that feels like right now is the best time to move off of him, tell me why you think so as well. Do you agree with my philosophy behind moving Nick Chubb? I would love to hear your comments. And for those of you looking for even more fantasy football content, check out the Discord, which is linked in the description below. Until next time.